The Brazilians in Furia have been crowned our first finalists, and now we need to figure out who will be their queen. It's either Team Liquid, with the recent additions of Grim and Moses, or of course TeamOne, the team that arguably should have never been here. Vince, it's going to be a lopsided affair, I think. I think that's a fair expectation to go into the game with. But what I take solace in knowing is that our expectations with TeamOne have been blown out of the water before. There's no reason that they couldn't turn our heads here tonight.
100% agree with you, Scrawny. They're a team, I'll be completely honest. Coming into this, I thought they had zero hope. I didn't think they'd win a map. That's how little I had expectation-wise of TeamOne. They discussed it on the desk. They didn't even qualify. They got here because other teams couldn't make it. The fact they're already in the semis is unreal, and I also wonder if that gives them a slight edge in terms of mentality coming into this game. Liquid know the expectation is on. They know that they're the favorites to win this. Maybe that underdog mentality is really going to help TeamOne excel.
I think it could, but what worries me for their sake is that the being the favorites type mentality for Team Liquid is, I think, just plays right into them, man. This is a team that, like Furia, can crank the dial if they think they have an advantage in terms of firepower. And they do. From tip of the head to the toes, Vince, Team Liquid is the better team. I mean, we're going to have to see which pieces connect here tonight. Who offers up the highlights? Could it be Grim yet again? The first series of this event, he was phenomenal. And we know that he has teammates capable right behind him. In fact, Naf, 2 players back, just gets that opening kill. Stewie with 1 headshot, but it's PRT from the car, and a great flashbang has 3 heads turned away. He is still alive, but only for a moment longer. The glass just berating him. And Barton, who has been the star for TeamOne, looks to catch up here in the pistol, but he has taken now too much damage. Unless it is 3 crispy headshots to close out this pistol round retake 1v3 clutch, it is Team Liquid with the opening round on map 1. And okay, there's, oh my god, 2 and a chance, but Elise stops it. Holy hell, that came out of nowhere.
I could hear you were genuinely surprised at that. You're kind of just ramping things down to its conclusion, and then it's like, well, hold on a sec, he just landed 2 ridiculous headshots. How's that happened? But as he said, that flashbang on long, I actually thought that was going to be the round-winning moment for TeamOne. It hit 3 players. You could see them jumping up and down and just begging for mercy. Unfortunately, PRT missed a bunch of shots from Car. Still gets 2 in the round, but could have done better. Stewie 2K tags straight away. As 4 rifles put into place, the arsenal of weaponry is looking potent with the 1 SMG. They're going to trade out Stewie 2K, who took that early scout shot. Now throws his Galil across the nav light, picking up the UMP. But Maluk, from this very position, we saw him do it yesterday. Actually, in the second round, after losing the pistol round, he got 4 kills from this position, and he was an absolute nightmare. A real nuisance, and another shot connects onto Elise, softening them up for these pistols.
Team Liquid may not know just quite what they're up against just yet. You know, maybe taking a couple of risks could come with a price tag. Naf is dead, thanks to Pesa. The damage is done, thanks to Maluk. They do still have that cat presence. A liege on the front run. This is one of those rounds where I think Grim could come in and show us his value, because Elise and Stewie dying may not be much of a surprise, seeing as they're already tagged to sub 40 HP each. It's Grim and Twist that we know have a higher likelihood of surviving to the very end. Pesa gonna drop a deagle shot, takes damage down to 11, then Grim gets tagged up, body bagged on top of it. Twist is now incredibly low. Oh my goodness, TeamOne on the cusp of working with the force buy. Twist has a bomb in his hand as Barton goes soaring over, but oh, the USP tap into the eyes of Stewie. Now it's PRT cutting it down, and a double deagle to close the second. TeamOne have kept this game competitive from the very start, and this is a huge force buy win to walk away with.
I echo the sentiments of what the desk said. When it comes to individual ability, there is no doubt in my mind from watching TeamOne that they are exceptionally good players. It's the strats. It's how is the teamwork in play. And no disrespect at all to Grim or Moses, but this might be one of the best times for this matchup to take place. When they're going through this transitional phase, we heard about some changes that were going on the Mirage B side. Maybe there's more changes on Dust2 and other maps as well. And that aggressive, freeing mentality that TeamOne have could play into some issues with Liquid. Maluk again in middle, who started off the last round with scout shots, is connecting again. This time though, there's no armor to facilitate survival. You get hit by that scout in the chest, you are going down if you're Liquid. Somehow Grim survived on 1 HP. Just delaying the inevitable, it would seem, and TeamOne looking good to take the lead.
Interesting turn of affairs already. Scout shot versus Liege. Oh, okay. Deagle comes right back the other way. Barton, he's got a good chance at a multi-kill here. Takes down the one, but it's Twisted Stewie with just the pistols, starting to hand back damage to TeamOne. And let's be real. Anything TeamOne can do, Team Liquid should do better. So if we have to give the respect to the Brazilians for their force buys, then absolutely Team Liquid gets that same edge. But Twist, he gets aggressive, slips out through mid with Mobs right behind him. And down he goes. Just enough time for the defuse to come through. Actually, ample time for the defuse to come through. TeamOne close it, but it comes with a cost. You better get that M4 from mid. Ooh, and you'll walk away with it. At least one standing here for TeamOne. But obviously, cost effective for Liquid. With another bomb plant, they come in with the buy.
A real bruh moment if you're TeamOne, though, almost watching through their hands like a horror movie where his teammate really tried to clutch that, because such a low investment for Liquid and the economy of one is really in the balance. They are struggling to rummage together a buy. Elige could walk into this trap, though. PRT aggressive around the other side of the box. It goes unchecked, and Elige gets punished. That's an AK-47 trading hands, and Grim's just been tagged as well. Elsewhere from the scout of Maluk. Twist trying to remedy the scenario and avenge his fallen teammate, but he's burning alive. Has to use his smoke just to survive on the backside of lower tunnels. Twist and Naf now both dip in for frags, but Grim gets finished off by Maluk's scout shot with a HE. 3-play-3, and still plenty of time on the clock for Liquid to make some decisions. Maluk narrowly escaping death, and Twist missing his shot, then gets put down by Pacer on a catwalk push.
Back towards long they'll go. This is going to put the pressure on Pesa. Stewie and Naf running at him. Better have guns out. He's keeping his head back and forth here. He's a little bit uncertain as to where it's coming in from, but now they're already close on ramp. Pesa hiding behind the box, gets caught by Naf. He was just looking to catch the bomb carrier by surprise. Oh, the jumping scout shot from Maluk. That has to sting. And now Naf, he's looking for the clutch, but Maluk's, he's stuck in this position. Bomb's been thrown over towards the catwalk, which is perfect for Barton on the off. One shot to make the difference. One chance to take back the round. The Molotov hits the mark. Bomb's been picked back up. Nafly having an inkling as to where Barton's at, clearly with the utility, but he's going to get swept away if he's not cautious. Connects some damage. Down to half health is Barton. Scope back in, looking for the wall bang. Doesn't quite connect, and Nafly, he's taken off into a more aggressive angle, hanging on the side of the ledge, Vince. Just welcoming Barton in so that he can shut him down.
I can't understate how good that off angle is for Nafly. He used the flashbang to facilitate the kind of retreat, and he's perched up on an angle that you're never anticipating a player to be stood in. If you think of it from an Opus perspective, you're checking behind the ramp first, behind the boxes, even Goose. Oh my God, Grim get wrecked. Never had a hope of evading that bullet. And now Maluk, yeah, correct decision. Get the hell out of there. You've got the bloodshed you were looking for. Don't overstay your welcome. But yeah, that was so well played by Nafly. But can Liquid make the most of that? They've got the economy in really iffy shape. It is sketchy right now. They've lost the first player. Still loads of utility and firepower, of course. They should still be favorite to take it. But again, TeamOne showing that they have been underestimated so often. And now they are garnering respect. They are forcing their enemies to respect that this is a team that's not just here to make up the numbers. They are here to win.
Oh man, this is exciting. It's only 5 rounds deep, Vince. I'm grinning ear to ear. Flashbangs and smokes go over. Oh, they catch that movement. Poor PRT. His knapsack gave him away. Twist able to get to the bomb site, losing health inside the molly. He is dropped to 50. That could compromise him. Stewie with eyes just over the side of the smoke, unable to finish off Barton. Damage going both ways here. Pesa connecting another Deagle headshot. It's a man advantage up for the CT side. And Naf dies, standing out in the open. Alige in for the clutch. All 3 of the CTs over towards that ramp, and he's cutting down 2. Gets the 3rd to close. Alige with the ace.
Ooh, Liege, that was a beautiful clutch. Nearly a team ace for TeamOne. Additionally, everyone dipping in with Deagle frags, it would seem. But man, it just makes you think that if Alige isn't just firing at 100%, TeamOne pull that round out, and probably quite convincingly at the end. I cannot believe how close this has been, but surely now that TeamOne have just USPs and a P2000, this is where Liquid start to shift through the gears. They get out of that stalled beginning, and they start cruising down the highway in this first half.
You know, Vince, I know you're a skins nerd, so I'm going to use this round with just USPs to talk about it. You know the skeleton knife is the sickest knife in the game? When even Alige, the guy with no skins, owns one. It's all he's got. It's all he's got, Vince. It finally met his criteria.
The animations on it are absolutely sick. Just
pretty banging.
Flicking it around your fingers, like, yeah, I'm totally down. It is stupidly
like
expensive, though. Like,
oh, just, you know, just a couple grand, dude. Don't worry about it.
all in a day's work.
Yeah. Wait. Grim. He's going to have to pop some heads. Does so. Nailing the first 2 to the wall of elbow. Of course, this one just all too easy. There's not even flashbangs for the CTs to try and play with. And we've seen them do great work with little tools at their disposal. So I think that 5 alive here for Liquid is actually finally a bit of a sigh of relief. Like, whew, that one didn't need an ace to clutch. Good. 4-2 lead for Liquid on the T side of their opponent's map pick, but the buyback on the cards here for TeamOne. It's not going to feature Maluk's nasty scout peeking down mid. In fact, there's no snipers for either team.
That's a very good point, which is often certainly not the case on Dust2. Flashbang out for the pop. PRT actually using it just to evade any potential aggression forthcoming from Liquid, which wasn't coming too quickly. So he would have been okay anyway, but couldn't take that risk, of course. You just got yourself assault rifles again after being in a bit of a loss streak. But the signs are there that Liquid are hungry. Alige, it's not that he's had a bad tournament by any stretch of the imagination. He's just typically not really been required. So now that a couple of his teammates aren't quite hitting the mark, this is where you're looking at Alige to take over.
Which is perfectly fine. You know, you save a secret weapon for the semifinals. You know, we have only had 2 best of 3s from Team Liquid. One to open up their group was just Grim completely dominating. I believe that being versus ZPG. Second match versus Chaos. Got close at times, but yeah, like you said, they never had to, you know, dive that deep into the talent pool. Here's Malbs off Cat with the good first frag, but it's traded immediately. Pesa looks to take his place, finds Twist on the side of the smoke. Shadow almost giving him a chance at another, but Maluk hot on the heels of the 2 Cat players as PRT sinks back into his spawn side by side with Barton. Eyes on Maluk. He's going to find the better of the timing. Had the smoke not been there, there's a little bit of a gap. Hard to work, but Naf makes that magic happen. His 8th kill of the map already. And the 2 counter-terrorists that were in the depths of which they came now maintain Little Cat control. Follow-up smoke, completely blocking them off. You have to feel for Maluk there, getting robbed of his chance at a kill, but PRT gets that frag close smoke. Now they're going to try and fancy the chance to push through, and Naf gives them just a bit of room to work. He's on the base of ramp, and PRT's on site. Alige from downtown gets that first kill. Barton tapping the bomb's going to try to draw him into the action, but Alige, he's keeping it cool. He's taking damage, though. And there it goes. Spartan has to leave because time is of the essence. Alige's passiveness towards Long A, Vince, it's enough to get the round.
That's a bit of an odd decision from Maluk, wasn't it? Because you know, if he tries to spray through that smoke, realizing he missed his chance, and you can see here, this is an Aflight play. That's a sick shot by him, by the way. But it was weird. If Maluk starts spraying through the smoke and he has teammates that are like Car or Long, and it draws the T's into this weird crossfire, I can understand, but his two teammates were behind him. You don't really gain anything from that. The chance of you landing a spray through that smoke is very, very low. You give your position away, and maybe that's just a bit of a desperation, like losing his clarity, losing his nerve in a really key moment in this game. Solid shot from Pace Up with a deagle, but it is effectively just an eco. PRT with one, nearly lining up for a couple more, but it seems like Liquid have bypassed those potential traps, and now as long as they stick together, they should be good to take this round as well, albeit against Pacer, who does have Kevlar and has now picked up that AK-47. So there are still lifelines, but that one's been cut short. Maluk on the flank. They may push A after getting the opening pick on there in this 2v3, but a P250 is all that he has, and he's now been Molotov'd out of position. So Liquid will be able to secure themselves a bomb plant. It really comes down to if maybe Maluk, if he can get into this ramp, bypass the Molotov, kill Stewie, he would have the AWP on top of that. But there's Naflight, stopping that in its tracks.
Absolutely. Just turning around to shut it down, as he did on Cat last round versus Maluk. I think you could also chalk up that moment from Maluk to being, I mean, we've all been there. When you know you have the chance to make a round-winning play, but it just slips by you, and yet you haven't convinced yourself yet that you have to let it slide to go into a different attempt. You think, oh, surely I can, and then you die because Naf just taps your head off through a smoke. So whatever the result, whatever the motivation, 2 rounds ago now, that Maluk was not able to prevent them from going up Cat. And there has been a consistency from Liquid towards this A site so far. We are at the start of the 9th round with a sniper in the hands of Stewie. Double up for Barton and Maluk. The affinity for the early A hold from TeamOne. This time once more, welcoming them up the catwalk, trying to put them into the scope of Maluk as Pesa takes over mid control for that second sniper. He doesn't feel too comfortable with the utility being shown there, Vince. He forfeits Cat, which again has been a part of the play to TeamOne's expectations since the start of this round. Do Team Liquid decide to follow through with this Cat control, or is the fact that it's so easily taken making them a bit too nervous to commit? They have a player still in tunnels and twists. He goes back, clears, makes sure there's no aggressive push, and the counter-terrorist doing nothing other than waiting for Liquid to arrive.
Which in turn is forcing Liquid to play each and every second allocated to them, maybe anticipating the aggression, that Brazilian aggression that we all know about, as Grim jumps down into CT, and now it's going to be a slow wrap onto the B side, but it's going to have to pick up pace. PRT with the first, but now Naflight with 1 entry and make it 2. Has cracked open the B play, and there will be a post plant following it up, with TeamOne not interested in potentially going for it. So there were certainly a couple of moments there, Connor, where I was a little bit nervous for Liquid, especially when Grim got shut down in the back, but it worked out okay for them in the end.
I think what helps out Team Liquid is the fact that Naf comes through that window and sees Barton, who's playing platform, a little too far forward. Had Barton had 5 steps back, he would have been completely covered in the corner. He could have just fixated over on tunnels to potentially kill twists, or even let them into the site, deny the bomb plant, for example. You know, we were working with sub 10 seconds in those situations. Anything can happen. But because he's too far forward, Naf just executes him. Single shot to the side of the skull, and then sweeps through with the player beneath him at the base of the window. You'll see it here. Just like that. All the pressure then on Pesa. So a little disjointedness, in my humble opinion. Obviously, TeamOne with that kill from PRT, I keep going to call him Peter, through the smoke in CT spawn, like that's what really gave them a chance. Because I think if you don't kill Grim, then there's not even a hope in hell. But they could have stopped it. Could have being the operative words, because of course they didn't. Team Liquid securing a 7th round, securing tons of cash behind this momentum, a 5-round lead that's starting to make this CT side look like a bunch of chumps. But I'm not going to write them off, and therefore neither should anybody tuning into this match, this second semifinal. TeamOne have given us reasons to believe throughout their tournament life already. A life that has just begun here in the first map of our BO3.
It is their choice of map, though, so they'll be erring on the side of caution. But I definitely echo your sentiment. Certainly, anyone that writes them off has not watched the games that have taken shape so far at DreamHack Summer. Meanwhile, Stewie tagged a little bit, but Barton already a casualty of war. Will be sitting on the sidelines. They still have a bunch of firepower at their disposal, though, TeamOne, all things considered. Another smoke onto CT, maybe looking to rinse and repeat, but just speed it up a little bit back onto that B wrap. Only Maluk is here. I say only, but he does have the AWP, and he's going to be up in a 1v1, but he misses the flick, and with his death, the B site may very well fall. You don't typically push an AWP outside of B if you have more players on there. It is a scouting play for a bit of aggression to stamp down authority, but Liquid have navigated their way past bullets into another post plant, into another round. Pacer could maybe thread the eye of the needle. Does it? Was a bit labored, but gets the damage done finally. And that'll be an AK in his hands momentarily. He can look to try and piece out of here and save the second assault rifle. Liquid, though, after a very topsy-turvy beginning to this game, Scrawny, they seem like they've finally stabilized, and this is more like the Liquid that we expected to see today.
Kind of what we anticipated with Furia versus Chaos as well, right? Like, we're going into each of these games knowing who our favorites are. The idea of a Team Liquid versus Furia finals, ooh, baby. But that is long ahead of us. Pesa keeps the AK, so the two rifles move through. That's really the best they could hope for. Watch this.
Jeez.
Yeah. Welcome to the big leagues. Naf, you are nasty. He is 12 kills, 5 deaths deep. 1 frag ahead of both Twist and Elige. Frag grenades get sent soaring over on long A. It's an immediate attempt from Team Liquid to take control of it. Naf, ooh, they get revenge for his dirty one-tap last round. They go for the double peek over Xbox, kill him for free. He does 0 damage back the other way. So Team Liquid having to face a man disadvantage with, again, a pretty standard setup here for TeamOne. The only difference, as opposed to being a bit more passive on Catwalk, they are kind of flirting around here with Malbs and Maluk. Malbs, who opened up versus Naf, will just tuck in the staircase, presumably so that the Opper can give cover over his shoulder if he feels the time comes. But right now, because of the utility from Long, thanks to Grim, they're watching that more intently. And PRT actually only has himself to rely on. He goes down. Now, the man in the back of the B bomb site has a huge order ahead. Grim catching the mid-rotate. Barton, what can you make happen? Well, Maluk, he lends his op through the smoke to find Elige, and Barton, because he is not pressured from tunnels, gets it done. The 2 snipers of TeamOne with 4 frags in round 11.
Yeah, that kill from past the site through middle was massive. It alleviated a lot of the pressure. Yeah, we may see it momentarily, or perhaps not, but it was definitely a round-defining moment, because take nothing away from Barton, like, his kills are huge, obviously, but nullifying that third player from pushing straight in stops Barton from being overwhelmed from multiple angles. So he can just sit in position and have a much easier go of it. So TeamOne, they get the 3rd round. It's their first round in quite a while. Liquid, easy rebuy, of course, but double AWPs in play on TeamOne. And this is maybe where the lack of an out-and-out primary AWPer for Liquid sometimes may kind of become more noticeable, because on Dust2, you typically want an AWP whenever you can possibly afford one. They had the choice. They decided against it.
Yeah, I can get you there. I can follow your grooves here, Vince, but we'll see, because they may just make quick work of this A site instead. They go back to Cat, which is where they very much began this map. Constantly finding that footing onto the A site. But they are starting to lean towards B to close out the first 15. Twists the bomb carrier for the moment. Barton posted up close, as opposed to back on plat. He had his barrel posted. Almost, actually, hits that shot blind. Little smokes go up here in mid, and Alish finding the best of PRT. This is going to draw the attention of TeamOne's B players, and that could screw them over because there's 4 guys coming in from tunnels. Pesa, he will allow Alish to cross and still catches it. Twist comes in as Stewie dies through him. But Grim will find that bomb plant, and it's a 3v2 in the post to the favor of Team Liquid. Vince, this sniper is too valuable and their cash too thin to really justify this retake attempt. What a stinging situation for the Brazilians to have to deal with. They need to let a 9th round slip.
It's brutal, isn't it? We're getting to that point now, Scrawny, though, that I don't think that necessarily... I think this is the cutoff point. I think after this, you have to start, you know, basically grinding up rounds. You've really got to try and hustle rounds, because if you keep saving, eventually you're looking at 10, 11 rounds. At what point do you say, okay, enough's enough, we actually have to start fighting for this? Because right now, this is a slow death. This is a death by 1,000 paper cuts that TeamOne are dealing with.
God, that sounds horrible.
Right?
In between your fingers.
Oh, worst feeling.
Ah! On your eyelids. We get that sniper out of Team Liquid. Stewie 2K gonna pick it up. Looking to pad the stats, perhaps. Molotov inside of long A doors. That's gonna turn the attention of Grim immediately, and they look to truck along towards mid. Haven't seen this yet. Little boost up from PRT. I do like the variety that Team Liquid have offered us on this T side. Long A fight, cat wraps. Last time with 4 guys out from tunnels on B. They get 2 guns popping off through mid. It's Stewie, he finds Pesa. That must have been over top of the smoke from Cat. Yep, exactly. Just found him trying to cower back into his corner of cover. Stewie on the board with the off. Naf's patience pays off, finding Malbs, who thought he could get a little adventurous, but curiosity killed the cat.
That curiosity may force TeamOne into more aggressive plays. Maluk, the classic angle with the AWP, has to turn tail and run. He misses his chance. 35 seconds coming up. Time becoming a bit of an issue as it erodes away into the back of Liquid's mind. They know that they have to start pressing forward. And it's a good read from TeamOne. They realize A site, the most likely outcome, the most likely endeavor, but outspill the terrorists, and they just swarm all over the CTs. Maluk's trying to hold himself, nearly takes down Twist, which gave him a way forward, even though he was getting flanked, but it is now 10-3 on Dust2. And TeamOne are getting the D2 at this point. They're going to call a tactical timeout and try and figure out what the hell to do next.
Yeah, their options limited by their money. Mob's got 7K, so maybe they can actually get into this with like a nice little armor deagle buy across the board. We've seen really nice deagle plays throughout all of the players of TeamOne, in my opinion. And you only have 2 rounds to account for, so the only thing you have to calculate, of course, is what you want to play in this limited one. Ooh, or maybe it won't be limited at all. Let's go all in. What's this include? An op drop by Mobs, thrown to Maluk. FAMAS, M4, MP9. We'll see if there's another weapon on the floor or if PRT has to work with the Deagle. But I put his name at the top of the list when it comes to Deagle headshots. So, okay, this is what they have to work with. I actually appreciate the priority for utilities. Stewie 2K lets a shot ring out. Off of that, Maluk tries to reposition here and find an angle. Let him shoot through mid all he wants. It's when he puts his head on catwalk, which is where Stewie was able to find his pick last round, that he could be in for a world of hurt. Flash goes back over. Maluk's going to try and establish that cat control. See, Stewie can't hit the flick. Stu gets the best of him. And now that second CT gets burned out of his position. So Team Liquid doing a good job of methodically dismantling this mid setup.
PRT, Malbs, gonna have to have some impact. Haven't quite had it this map so far, but Pesa has been consistently posting up the frags. And with his kill, Liquid have to respect the ability that TeamOne may very well hold on to this, but they've given up mid control entirely, and they're playing very deep on A long. So catwalk open, car open additionally, and they're going to go aggressive on both sides. TeamOne have felt claustrophobic this entire game, and now they're going to free themselves up. This does give A away, but if they get the timing correctly, maybe they can get up close enough to fend off this push. 2E2K, Torch, the bomb goes with him. Important kill from Nafly, but now he's encircled by CTs. The bomb is still down. This aggressive play, this flank, this rotation has paid out in dividends, but Grim gonna try and cash in with more kills. It falls down to Twists. 13 seconds allocated. He will not have time to retrieve the bomb, go back and plant. And I think he's just realized it, so he has to press forward, and PRT has stood there with a deagle. I love that decision from TeamOne.
Hell yeah, I do. Limited in the situation. Mobs makes the flank happen, and Naf, well, he stuck around here. He got that first kill, and then kind of had to stick around because, I mean, just grabbing bomb to turn your back. But look at the bomb placement. Technically, Vince, you know, it's not like Naf had to push any further. It's just he got kind of magnetized to the gunfight. TeamOne will happily take that one, despite it coming down to the wire. They're going to try to close this CT side with a 5th round. Once they take to the offense, they get to play their game. And we know the levels of aggression that they have weaponized already throughout this event. Maluk empty-handed off of the first shot. 3 points of health left over, but luckily for him, his teammates lock down long. And Maluk then turns attention, able to connect as TeamOne will close with 2 rounds at the end. Is it enough? Join us in a moment to find out.
Close the window, lock the door so we don't have nowhere to go. Feel the rhythm through your body. Let your soul out, I won't tell nobody. Yes, you feel the heat, such chemistry with your energy. It's feeling me. Is it really you? 'Cause it's real to me. Oh, so please don't stop. Like California love, let's go lay out in the sun, then go party in the dark like the day will never come. Look, I know you got a girlfriend, but she ain't here tonight, so let's drink some water, liquor, and kick it up into overdrive. Take me high, so I drown in the sky. Forgive my impulse, I just like you. It's not often a stranger gets me this high. I'm in limbo, trapped inside you, and I'm not coming out. You feel the heat, such chemistry with your energy. It's feeling me. Is it really you? 'Cause it's real to me. So please don't stop. Like California love, let's go lay out in the sun, then go party in the dark like
If you're willing to write off TeamOne, then you go ahead and do it. But I very vividly remember when they were down 3-10 versus Cloud9 on Overpass on a CT side that looked like it had no life left. They closed the half with 2 rounds in the exact same fashion that they just did, and that map went to overtime. Maybe I'm getting a little too excited. Maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself. But all I'm trying to say to you is that TeamOne have fought back from worse situations. They have their hands full with a very hot Team Liquid for the moment. But this first map's not over.
It certainly is not. And this second pistol could give us a good indication as to where it may be coming down. Liquid get this. They're in pole position. Grim missing out on a few shots. Flashbang is good. Barton gets the second. That's B side open. Maluk gets overwhelmed though. All 3 of the CTs now pushing and piercing together to try and retake the site, but that's a good smoke. That forces them back. They're going to keep Twists in close proximity and then charge Elige and Naflight back over through middle towards window. That flick would have been disgusting if it connected, but was just narrowly off. Elige has the right idea. But Molb's playing this one intelligently, just staring at the ground, peeks up, smacks Naflight. Reverse game of whack-a-mole, and now Molb's going to be able to put down the damage with Barton. TeamOne do convert the pistol, and the game well and truly back on.
Molbs, man, 3K, big one. This tap, whoo, hello. And then the follow-up frag, same position, just slides out into Elige. So TeamOne, they take that second pistol, they win it out. Now they need to avoid losing to the force buy in the follow-up. It would not be the first time this event they've been the victim of such a situation. We saw Maluk with some nasty scout damage in mid when they were on the CT side, and Naf looks to replicate exactly that. Other than him, it's Elige with the MP9. Everybody else just pistols. Got a man in pit, or so he was. Twists tries to move back at the exact moment that TeamOne come barreling out from long doors. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 players all charging him down. So he was doomed. However, their 5th man's a little bit disconnected for the time being. They know their flank is clear. Naf, he's going to try to take the boost up, but a little bit delayed, and the Molotov lands right on him. Molbs and Barton with headshots each. Leaves just Grim and Naf. Grim's going to underhand the flash, try to push past, and he comes up empty-handed. An excellent conversion point from TeamOne. Not a single casualty against them. Leans them into the double MAC-10 setup. And I'm looking at that T-side spawn thinking, rush B?
I think they might be joining you in that thought because they have a ton of great B spawns and they have 2 MAC-10s to push behind. The fact that Bomb's not going with them suggests it might not be a B hit and more of a tunnel control sort of round here. There's a couple of Deagles and a Zeus in play. At least centralized defense, using that smoke as a bit of cover. Elige hiding behind there. Slight gap in the smoke and converts with a brisk, spicy headshot onto Maluk. They can't take his weapon down, but Twists may see the next point, but he jumps. He decides to hop up. That gives the information across to Barton, who's maybe thinking about pushing through middle, and now he's decided against that.
Curious situation. Barton's still kind of close to it all. Naf just keeping eyes on tunnel from mid in case things go south versus these unarmored pistols. It's going to be 4 CTs trying to fight this on the other side. Rifles making mincemeat of that CT stack. There is nobody on the flank, and the grenade blows Twists into tomorrow. So Elige, who started it all, is the last man standing. Bit of damage versus 2 of the members of TeamOne, but Molbs up close will fall. And now that's an AK upgrade, but Pace's patience pays off as TeamOne find their 8th. Now within 2, but of course, this was what we were waiting for. It's the gun rounds of TeamOne versus the rifles of Team Liquid. Op on Stewie. Elige a little late on the buy. Grenades look good. There's just that one kit, and the lack of helmets won't matter unless those sidearms come out.
Flash is good, but so is the incendiary. Ends a bit of a stalemate. See what Maluk was going for, gets countered. But with that, long control established, and a hotbed of plenty of flashbangs, I'm sure, in future rounds, is going to call or fall silent for now. The call now comes through that they want to take a bit of late control, but Nafly and Twist in good positions to stop this. Twist hopping up, knows a player behind the blue container. Will call to the rest of his teammates, and now this 3 players strong. Molly towards the backside. Twist needs to be careful. Bypassing that second Molly goes in. Lots of utility expended just to deal with Twist, and he's still alive, but that smoke is going to allow them to fully focus him down. Well played, Team1. They get the opening pick, and they still have a minute to play with.
Oh, Stewie catches him trying to get into the pit. Damage going both ways. Stewie, he's going to get pinched. He knows it. Calls out Mob's position. Re-peaks successfully. And Grim gets a kill to the board as well. Stewie standing up with the sniper. And those were aggressive re-peaks. Arguably not needed. But he felt he could take control of the situation, and he absolutely does. He stands up and delivers on a promise he had to make happen. If he dies there, he opens that A site wide for the taking. PRT trying to connect one through smoke, has 20 seconds left.
Oh, not far off at all, but he's about to get right. Still connects on to Grim. There's only 12 seconds, though. The round's over. Can he take down more players? Can he keep that economy brutalized on the CT side? It's already struggling, by the way, even without taking his third kill. So, and it's a bit of a rough situation for Liquid, but they do get the round. And I echo your statements entirely. This round from Stewie, as we're about to see, this shot here is a 4v5. If Maluk gets into pit, he has the AWP, and it's going to be very difficult for him to hold on to the site with. And as you can see, every single time Stewie lands a frag, he's basically alone with his back against the wall on A. If he falls at any point there, A site is taken. Huge round from Stewie.
Fires burn themselves out and start walking over onto long. They've been able to challenge Twist successfully on this position. They're going to try it again. Flash through for Maluk. 3T is about to pounce. Twist is holding the angle, but he is also more passively back, so he can slip out. Thing is if they just walk up on him, he's not going to know for certain how many or when exactly they try to hit him. Mid completely open for the taking. Radar would make you think this is a 4v5, but on Stewie, or rather under Stewie, was a Liege. Now they go ahead and smoke off Catwalk, looking to make plays as Team1 finally decide to commit to pushing out the long doors. Twist hears those footsteps get close. He decides to hide. That's going to put Stewie now primed, and he hits his shot. Down goes Maluk, just trying to get that op into the pit so that he could give cover on the A site. But obviously the bomb has other intentions. It sits comfortably outside B. It's Grim's MP9 up close, Naf with a FAMAS. This is the lesser weapons for Team Liquid, but they do also have 2 players close mid. Can Grim shut it down? He gets himself the first, an assist thanks to Naf, and Elige goes through the smoke to shut down the play entirely. Malbs tries to find something in mid, but Vince, it is calculated and completely closed on that B bomb site. Grim hanging on next to the tunnels, dealing substantial damage despite the lesser weapons.
Yeah, cold and callous and collected kills. Grim, excellent work alongside Naf. Team1 didn't give them much room for error. Stewie 2K does get tagged on the cross, but then answers back. And whereas he was tagged by a scout, he comes out with the AWP aggression from Maluk as he steamrolls over the weakened Stewie. But he's alone. So Liquid going to maintain that player advantage. Team1, this is maybe where they do dip into more of those desperation pushes and just try and really take Liquid out of their comfort zone. Good grenade tossed in. Malbs taking the brunt of that, shielding the rest of his teammates. Drive by Deagle is good, but there's going to be no second. Twist holds on. He's fine with pulling back. We've got to that stage in the game now with round loss bonus where they don't care about conceding bomb plants. It's all about keeping enough players alive for the retake. There's going to be an AK trading hands. That's a significant power boost and power spike to the T's. Twist, that first headshot is sublime. Just a double tap round the corner, transitions into the spray, transitions into a 13th round.
Grim throwing some nice flashbangs, bringing more than just firepower to this lineup, it seems. Slotting right in with the teamwork already. And yes, that was clean by Twists. Finally, he gets a chance, Vince. As opposed to getting gunned down from like a prioritized long play, he just gets to walk away from the cat push and then come back for second servings. Double dips into the ramp. 3 kills in the round for him. 13 rounds for Team Liquid. So leading by 5. And just shy of the finish here on their opponent's map choice. 4 men for TeamOne stacked up outside tunnels. We haven't seen Grim kind of take over the show, but this could be the round where he offers up his individual skills. Gives us the highlight reel 4K spray. Or maybe even the ace, because everybody for TeamOne has now collected themselves outside of the tunnels. And Grim, oh, that Molotov's not going to quite spread. He is in the corner. He's gone unchecked, but he starts to fire off. Damage into the back line. The gun goes dry, and the USP just won't be enough. A bit of a scattered situation. He gets scared, and I don't blame him. The fact that he goes unchecked means he does way more than he ever should have. The T's could have so quickly killed him. But it's a 3v3 regardless. And Elige, his Molotov's actually going to prevent him and his teammate from coming in for the fast retake attempt. They've got a smoke and a flash left over on Elige. And now he's smoked them off too. So this flash better be fantastic. But Pesa, he's doing damage through it all. And Elige comes out regardless. Maltz tries to give that bit of a chase needed, and he nails it. Stewie 2K walks away. A 9th round for TeamOne.
Stewie looking for exits, gonna get it done. That keeps the economy in shape, in check. And with this saved up, they should be able to buy again. Twist's going to be in a bit of a rough situation. Actually, their economy not as good as I was anticipating, so they may call a timeout just to figure out what to do next. But yeah, this is one of those plays from Grim. Getting 2 kills is actually really solid. But I feel like if we fast forward time to 6, 8, maybe 12 months from now, that's a play that Grim is probably a little bit more calculated on. I think he snatched at that a little bit, and maybe it comes back to the fact that, look, listen, this guy's had a meteoric rise. In his own words, this is the first time he's been to a semi-finals in a tournament of this size. This is a young guy. This is a guy that doesn't quite have the experience of the likes of a Stewie or a Naflight or an Elige. And so you do have to give him a little bit more leeway. He's going to build into this. He's only going to get better in these situations.
I also think he has to go for it because I don't know if he anticipated or intentionally shot off, but he shot 2 bullets by way of one tap when he was kind of tracing that first player out, because it looked like he was going to immediately shoot. He shoots 1 or 2 bullets and then realizes, wait, they're not checking me? And then he has to go for the spray, but by that point, he's lost the player inside of the smoke next to the Humvee, and there's guys to his right very clearly in the middle of his screen, so anybody would have shat their pants in that situation. I think you're spot on, Vince. Give him a bit more time. Barton, 2 headshots immediately here, just making quick work of the pistoleros for Team Liquid. TeamOne trying to avoid that op in Stewie. And Stu, well, he does pretty good damage. I know, was that him? I'm sorry, I lost track of it all. Somebody lined up 2 players on long A and very well could have gotten some opening kills. It's either a Deagle or I thought it was the op because so much damage was done. But regardless, excuse my slow eyes, Vince. Shit, I think we might both be boomers.
It's that moment when you wake up one day and say, am I a boomer now?
Yeah.
Yep. Today's that day for scrawny. Welcome to the club.
I can feel it in my knees.
Yep. The only thing we do in this club is play bingo. That's pretty much it. And sometimes commentate.
Oh, Vince. TeamOne have a very real chance now to close this gap and make this first map interesting. They've given us rounds, you know. I've seen the highlights. I've seen the glimmer of hope. And because of that lackluster cash for Team Liquid, the glimmer is starting to break through the shroud of clouds. Utility for the hard entry onto the B site. Naf and Grim again. Grim's up close. Naf's on plat. He's fully flashed. And neither of them have actually started shooting Grim. This is his chance. And he goes in big. 3 kills off the 5-7. You said give him a year. Maybe just give him 3 more rounds. He does it with the sidearm and nearly now takes the 14th for Liquid, but it's going to have to come in from the clutch off Twists. A low Barton and Maluk honed in on the op. He walks right into the AK. Oh, what could have been.
There's not a shred of panic this time. Grim was feeling it. And maybe that's why Steel said he is the human aimbot. I was actually watching Steel's stream the other day, and they're playing FPL. Some of the shots Grim was landing were absolutely insane.
They're nuts.
Yeah, he's just incredible aim-wise. And so once that experience comes in, and this is a real player to watch out for, I think. I reckon Liquid have picked up an absolute phenom.
Crucial round here, this 25th. It's either Team Liquid getting themselves one away from securing the golden 15th, or TeamOne continuing to chew away at that lead. All the money on the line here for Liquid. Gonna follow up the first smoke with a second volley. Naf through the doors of the B-bomb site, trying not to die. That's substantial damage from Elige, and he's just gonna run right through this. He's gonna screw over TeamOne. Two backs turn to Elige, and it costs them. Grim, in the meantime, has just kept them at bay in tunnels as well. And he may just actually get activated here. He's on the top rope, and he just RKOs two players to the name of Grim for Liquid's 14th round.
Oh, Leash, that aggression. Fighting fire with fire. Grim perched up in a different position he's not used yet, catching TeamOne off guard. They're going to call a tactical timeout. And as Christina's Potter said on the desk segment, if this is going to go to our third decisive nuke, TeamOne have got to win Dust2. I don't think many people give them much of a hope on Inferno. So this has to be it for most people. I'm not going to completely write them off Inferno, don't get me wrong, but I think there's a much better chance of them getting a result from here than there is there. So what do you have up your sleeve, TeamOne? Now it's time to put all the chips on the table.
Completely mirror your sentiment here, Vince. You know, we kind of got the same thing versus Furia. It's like, oh, look, TeamOne, they put up a fight on their map pick, but they lost. Going into Mirage, we had zero expectations of a TeamOne upset, and they broke that Furia winning streak. It was stunning to see them actually take it to a third by picking up their opponent's map choice. Same could happen here. Again, unlikely. Absolutely unlikely. But we know at least the individual levels of TeamOne today, yet again, can provide. And Team Liquid, the respect for their opponents should be soaring. They've gotten the better of TeamOne in the most crucial of rounds. Elige, I can't believe the damage he found. Stop that. Sorry, man, my cat.
Understandable. Mine's a nightmare. She keeps running around all the time.
Yeah, well, dinner's coming up. You know what I'm saying?
TeamOne going to be looking to cash in on their force fight. Kind of had to be honest. Time is running out in terms of rounds. 50 seconds. This round still has a little bit more time to give. Molotov to the backside of the doors, forcing out any of those pesky close angles, but no one's home. Grim is playing a different angle again, mixing it up. Waiting and anticipating that B-Rap coming into play. They're going to be any flashbangs preceding the push? No. And Grim nearly lines them up for a double. Peeking from that fly gets punished. 25 seconds to go, and all the B defenders have been dealt with, and they've been put down. There's also PRT that's waiting for that flank to come in with a deagle. And so a pretty poor buy overall from TeamOne. Looks like it is going to yield the round in Liquid. They want no part in this. They're pulling back to save.
So TeamOne take a 12. Very clean affair as well. Just that kill on mid and then the second on the window. Team Liquid going to that A site with numbers, comes back to haunt them. At least for this round. Oh, dude, this is actually key as well because the money's not great for Liquid. So if they lose another one with nobody surviving, then they're going to have to bottom out the bank accounts. TeamOne could easily tie this at 14. Ooh. This is the makings of a 30-round game, Vince.
It is completely alongside of you that. And again, TeamOne, how many people in chat, how many people that are CS fans that maybe haven't caught much of them this tournament, but it came into this game thinking, Yeah, they probably get like 4 or 5 rounds on Dust2. And yet here we are, taking Liquid to their limit, taking them the distance almost. And Liquid, if they concede this round, TeamOne will be in great shape to get a minimum of 14-14. Naf like tagged on the cross. Maluk has consistently put down the damage when it comes to these crosses.
Tough spot for the long hold. Twists in the tightest of corners. Stewie on the op posted. Dies to Maluk's sniper first and foremost. It's Twist's turn to come in big. And he gets himself the first 2 frags. That at least keeps things even. Oh, but Alish, he tries to peek, and Maluk, his patience pays off. Pesa 100% just heard this rotate through CT spawn. He tries to peek, but Grim, he shut that one down. And TeamOne, they were contemplating a rock back towards spawn. Naf, he is going to have to come in clutch. It's PRT on the other side, the shadow, but the gun swap. The gun swap costs him, and Team Liquid, of all the rounds, take 15th like that. Oh,
mate. That must feel like he's just been uppercutted.
He saw the shadow.
Yeah, as he was switching. I can only assume, was he like switching for a nade for the cross? Maybe realizing there's only one smoke down there?
Yeah,
but
we're trying to...
like the audacity to push that smoke in the first place. He was the first player that got tagged, remember? He got up through the doors from Maluk. And so maybe he felt as if he had to get that timing peak. Otherwise, in an kind of an incursion at range, he'd probably die, right? So...
Naf, that's what Naf does. Naf doesn't care. Naf doesn't care. The weight of the game, the stakes, it doesn't matter. Naf's gonna do what he thinks is best. And at that moment, he thought it was smart to walk through smoke, and he was absolutely rewarded. Did it also happen because that last T is fumbling his grenades? Yes, that's a part of it. But Naf is looking to catch him off guard. And that is the most evident fact. He was not ready for the smoke walkout. And in classic Naf fashion, peeks out from under the covers, takes that 15th round and crawls back underneath the bed. Scurries off. And TeamOne now, from what was a slowly ramping comeback, as we have seen across so many maps in this event from them, they never go down without a fight, regardless of how lopsided things once looked. This was a 10-3 lead to Liquid on the T side. And TeamOne have found themselves in a position to have 3 rounds to tie rather. Alish, he's gonna have a lot of players trying to push past him, cuts down the second, but Maluk with the scout of all things. Stewie gets into just enough cover, and Naf looking to strike from behind. Takes the headshot versus Maluk. Stewie not wanting to kill his teammate, gets cover from Twist. 4 versus 2 situation. Malbs, he's still playing with just the pistol. Pesa looking for the headshots on Cat, shut down by Naf, and Team Liquid take map 1. 16 rounds to 12.
Man, TeamOne, what a performance. Even though they do concede on their choice of map, going above and beyond really any expectations. As you say, they're going to be victors, Liquid, and now they move to Inferno. And for me, I think TeamOne may have just missed their window. Scrawny, I do fear the worst for them. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping we go to Nuke.
Sure. I think that there's merit to be given across both teams here, right? Team Liquid, they survived over Dust2, which has been TeamOne's bread and butter. But TeamOne have earned our respect in getting this far. And so I don't think it's right to write them off just yet. We will see what they have in store for us on Inferno after the break, after the analysts unpack Dust2.